Sometimes copying is flattering and sometimes it isn't. I'm just saying, I'm looking at this Buick over here on the side, and I'm just looking at how they try to copy, but how it went very, very much differently. If you look, you can see that they tried to mount the front wheel forward, even though it's a front wheel drive car as far as possible, but they actually had to move the screen up quite a bit, the windshield quite a bit, in order to give that illusion. But still, you don't have the proper spacing between the wheel there and the beginning of the front door. Whereas you look on the Mercedes, you see that. Why? Because the Mercedes is a rear-wheel drive car, so they can obviously they don't have to worry about packaging with the transmission mounted sideways, things of that nature. They can mount the front wheel as far forward. And again, here's a big difference. Because the wheel is much more forward, the engine is sitting behind the front wheels more so, or the main weight of it at least is, which improves the handling dynamics quite a bit. Whereas you don't get that same type of thing with the Buick. If you look in the front of the Buick, because everything is mounted so far forward, the engine, you look at the engine bay area, it's not very big. It's going to be sitting over or in front of the wheels. That weight's over the front, and then as a result, you have quite a bit of weight over the front of the car, not within the two wheels. That weight's gonna carry you out in a corner more so than stay centered and keep the car planted. So that's something that is pretty interesting. So hey guys, I turned the camera around because I also want to talk about something really quickly. I was taking a break at work and I was watching a Doug DeMuro video. And I was watching it on the Lamborghini Aventador SV, the Super Veloce, which is a beautiful car. And this video is great. He's pointing out all the different aspects of the vehicle, and then he takes it for a drive. And what happens? Well, you don't really get a chance to hear the car rev up. I don't think he ever took the car over 4,000 RPMs. Why? Because he was in Virginia. In Virginia, they'll basically take your arm if you try to speed. I mean, literally, I'm saying 90% of the roads there are a 35 mile per hour speed limit. Growing up for me and in the Virginia Beach area, I mean, it just was ridiculous. I mean, every half mile or so down the road, you look, there'd be a cop sitting there waiting for you to do something. I mean, even when you get on the highways, I mean, the speed limit on the interstates and the highways is 55 miles per hour. I mean, that's ridiculous. It feels literally like you're crawling. Compared to like here in Michigan, they're getting ready to raise the speed limit up to 75 miles per hour from 70. When you go down there, it feels like your time is passing you by as you're sitting on the interstate with zero traffic. That doesn't mean though that no one races there, because down in Virginia Beach, that's a heavy Navy area, and Navy brats love to spend their check on cars and prove their self-worth by racing you light to light. So anyway, getting back to the point, I don't think Doug was able to use 30% of the Lamborghini's power. And so what this is all about is slow car, fast. And I've heard this theme, I've heard it before, I've heard guys talking about it, and I thought it's very interesting, but the point never hit home, especially until now. If I'm in my 944 driving, I can get that car up to 55, 6,000 RPMs and above, and I can enjoy it. I can feel the progression of power, right when there's no power, hear the engine get all the way up to its max revs, shift and look down, and I'm only doing 40 miles per hour. And that's fun. It's fun to be able to enjoy your car on any road. You don't have to go and take it somewhere where you think it's safe. You can enjoy the power. And that way you get to enjoy 90 to 95% of the engineering while staying in the confines of the law. So all this time you've been hearing guys talking about in BRZs being able to drive these cars, these 7.5, 8, 9 second cars, 0 to 60, and have a lot of fun with them. It is totally true. I think I'd be miserable if I was sitting around with a 690, or in the case with the Super Veloce, 730 horsepower car, and I can't do anything with it because of where I live and because I'll probably end up killing somebody in the process. So, again, this is something to encourage you guys to really take a look at some of your favorite 80s and 90s cars, cars that are 9 or 8 seconds, 0 to 60s that would seem slow today when you think about sports cars and supercars. But then really understand that you have the opportunity, for one thing, to have a car with super low insurance, but two, that you can enjoy all the engineering of the car without, and at the same time being safe and enjoying it. And that's something that's really important. And again, I'm just going to hit the skip because you know how much I love the 944. Having a front engine, rear transmission car It does wonders for you in mid-speed corners when you talk about feeling the car's rotation, especially when you have a car that runs about 2,600 pounds. Again, you Miata guys, that includes you guys too. I would love a Miata first or second gen, but I simply just can't fit in one, being 6'2" and 230 pounds. Yes, my weight is important because as you pick up weight, you know, having stuff side to side, things cutting into you, it's not a good feeling. And especially the first gen Miata, if you're a long-legged individual, there isn't a lot of space in there. Same with the Honda S2000. I can get in it, I just can't turn the steering wheel. So that's why I went to 944. But this video is, again, just something talking to you guys, encouraging you guys. These other little off cars, these first gen Mitsubishi Eclipse V4s, these you know, all these little cars that are out there reasonable. I'm telling you, if you think about them, you drive them, don't always go for the gusto. There's something that you would really like and enjoy. This is a short video. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to get back to giving you guys some other kind of content, but I would love to start some videos where I have a couple guys with me and we talk like on Drive and have a good time, but I'm not popular. I'm not that cool. So just keep that in mind with your projects. Go back, scour the internet, do some research. Think about the cars you loved as a kid or you saw going past you in the minivan, and buy them and drive them and try them out, and you might love them. So real quickly, I want to take you guys through a little bit of my automotive credentials, so to speak, or my vehicle history since about 16, the last 14 or 15 years or so of vehicles. And maybe this will give you an idea of where I come from with a lot of my perspective, where I'm at and where I'm going. Also post or take a picture of this and show you guys so you can kind of look it over. So first what we have is a my first car, 79 Volvo 244DL, canary yellow, awesome shape, love that car, owned it longest, almost 3 years. Next was the worst decision of my life, which is a 2005 Suzuki Forenza. Don't judge me, don't judge me, I needed credit. It was the first car that I had to get as being young. Next was a 2000 Infiniti i30T, which felt really fast compared to the first two cars. The engine was good. The engine note wasn't great, but great spacing. Loved the car. I didn't know anything about handling really yet to that point, except for the Volvo with the rear-wheel drive. I bought a little fun car in the process of having that car, which was a 1988 Audi 80 Quattro 5-speed, which was a lot of fun until I blew the synchros in 5th gear and eventually sold it still for more money than when I paid for it. After that, and I crashed the Infiniti, I bought a little fun car, which was a Mazda MX-6. It was a 93. Super fun, super light 5-speed. Gave me my first real taste of having a sports car. Especially, and I enjoyed that car quite a bit, but I wanted to upscale some. So the next car I went with was a 99 Mercedes C280, my first Mercedes, the first taste of the truth. It was great. I remember when I had my i30T, my wife had a Volkswagen, and I just noted the difference in quality of a German car over something from Japan, and I always wanted one. I got that with the C280. You know, after that I moved to, believe it or not, a Honda Accord Coupe V6, 2006 actually. Great car until a lady crashed into me up in Flint, Michigan. So after that, I think what I do. Oh, 93 400E Mercedes. Oh, a beast of a car. Over 90 miles to whatever, 90 miles per hour to whatever. That 400E, that I think it was a 4.2 liter V8. Yes, it was excellent. Nothing like it. I mean, still one of the best cars at high speed, but a little old. So then I just had a little bit more of automotive ADD, and I went on to the Mazda RX-8 04 Auto. What a terrible decision. Terrible car. Bought that. It was fun. Looked great. Red, got a lot of compliments. Super slow. You know, shifts weren't that great. The bounce of the car was good, but that was the only thing that I had with it. After the RX-8, I want to get a real car again, so I went back to Mercedes. Actually did an 83 Mercedes 300 SD turbo diesel, which was a crime lord vehicle. You remember the ones from the 80s from Miami Vice and stuff like that? That was that car. Loved it to death. Big, huge steering wheel. The only sunroof I've ever had in a car where I actually was afraid a bird was going to crud directly on my head. But loved it. Listened to a lot of Frank Sinatra in that car. Moved on from there to a Mercedes 300, and this was a 92 Mercedes 300 TD, which is a turbo diesel, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air status or class kind of Mercedes. Actually, look on my FC Imports auto page on Instagram, and I'm gonna post some pictures of that car. That was a super fun car. I actually plastic dipped it and did some other things. So then after that, actually, I got my first 944, which was an 83 red 944. The paint was perfect on it. Loved that car. Blew the engine because I wasn't paying attention to oil pressure. Life lessons learned. From there, I went on to a 2005 Volvo S60R. Now we're starting to talk about some real speed, some good fun. Car was incredible. It had a few drawbacks because it's just the platform it was designed on. And then after that, I got my 84 Porsche 944. You're starting to see a theme here, which was the beginning of the FC Imports page. It was the silver one that I ended up plastic dipping, vinyl wrapping, going back and forth. Then this one, I don't know if I could really call it a car because I never drove it, didn't have an engine, but I had it, was a 68 Porsche 912, which I sold on eBay and made really good money from. And then we're getting much more current, the 2008 Mercedes CLS 500, or 550, excuse me, which is what I have now, and is a great car. And then of course the recent purchase for $400, 85.5 Porsche 944. So there are all my cars, all 17. Hope that gives you some type of perspective where I'm coming from with all this.